I can't deny that hiding your belts does look clean, but where possible, I've always been more of a fan of showing them off and really making a feature of them. Hi, I'm Scratch, and today we're going to look at how to lay out your belts so they're not just functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. I'm going to show you some examples of each of the layouts, and then I'll show you the blueprints I've made for you guys to use, which I'll tell you how to get later in the video. Okay, and here we are at our first belt layout, and where better to start than with the classic bus line. Obviously, I'm sure you all know what a bus is. It's just a long set of conveyors very simply laid out to convey your items from one place to another. You just got your belts side by side. Very simple, but that does not mean they cannot look good. So this one's a little bit more complicated because obviously it's got the sinks on the side, and these run off to the sink lines. We've got some nice clean walkways above, which not only looks nice but allows you to see all of the things that are going along, and some nice clean lighting over top with some railings and stuff. So yeah, nice simple bus line this, but they can get a bit more fancy and complicated. You could obviously stack them higher or do other things like that. And I have got one more example of a bus line that we'll jump to now. So here we are at the second bus line. As you can see, it's a little bit smaller, so you don't have to go as big as that last one. Obviously it does look quite cool, but this looks nice. And I've put the walkway down the center, cordon the belts off with these little walls here. It's just nice, runs all the way down here, around the corner, and then down here. Let's get a torch on, down to where our miners are. Oh, I haven't been in since 1.0, and there's now a waterfall here. Oh well, yeah, down to the miners down here. I always really like this one. It looks really cool having it edged in with the belts on either side. So that's another style of bus you can have with your walkway running down the center. So before I get attacked, we'll jump over to the bus blueprint I've created that you guys can use in your saves. Okay guys, here's our first set of blueprints for the bus line style of logistics layout. Now you can see here I've got, how many belts have I got? I think 5 on each side, so 10 belts here. Let's just double check that. Ooh. Yeah, 5 on each side. In all my examples I'm going to use Mark 1 belts. You can upgrade them if you get the blueprints yourself, but I've kept this one nice and clean and simple. A little bit of lighting, a little bit of support underneath here. I've also run power because it's sometimes quite nice if you're going in between factories to run the power through your buses as well. But yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty clean. I'll show you how to snap it together because there's not really any interesting techniques going in this one. It's just a nice example. So we'll jump over now and I'll show you it running, and I'll show you how to put it together. Okay, so here we are. I've placed the first one in and just set up some production on it so you can see it flowing. All you do, I've got this main belt one like this, but I've also got this connector, bus connector piece, which just use the default just to get it in there or nudge it in the right place, because if you use the blueprint mode and try and snap it, for some reason it snaps with this gap, which you could use just, and then hit H, nudge over by 2 and do that. I'm not sure why it did that, why it's done it like that, but it has. And then obviously you place this one in. These ones snap in fine like that, and then another connector piece in here, which again you could just look at the floor or blueprint and then nudge to place that in. And then all you need to do is go along and add your, oh no, that's wrong. There we go, click, and just add all your belt connections in. So obviously I've done it with the connector piece, because it allows you to have this nice little, the stairway to get on and off the walkways. But also, unfortunately, you can't connect. If I just whacked 2 of these next to each other, even if it looked like the belts were connected, they wouldn't be. So you go along connecting everything like this. I'll just speed up and I'll just quickly connect this all up. And there we go, all connected. The only other thing, like I said, I've done power in this, so all you'll need to do is connect this power line here on each connection segment you've put in, and that's this all done. And yeah, I think it looks quite cool, especially being able to look down into it like this. It's just seeing these all flow along. Again, I've used Mark 1s. Go in, load the blueprint and add whatever Mark belt you want. But yeah, it looks quite nice. You come down to the ground level, get on and off the walkways, be able to see what's going on in your factory. It just looks really clean, really nice. So now we'll move on to the next style of logistics layout. Okay, and here we are at our second style of layout. Yeah, it's still a bus, but this one is what I like to call sunken, or underfoot, or underground, whichever you want to refer to it as. But as you can see, the busway is sunk underneath the walkway. I kind of like this. It gives your walkways a lot more life to be able to look down and see all the items running underneath them. Obviously, it's also, as well as a bus, it's pulling double duty as a walkway. Now I've used them to connect the two sides of my mega factory here. So you've got this one here, let me fly up, and then you've got another one above us, ignore that wire, up here, and then there's the same over there that connects basically these two factories together. It's a really nice style I like to use a lot. Again, like I say, showing off your belts really brings a life into your factory, and I love doing this because as you're walking between your factories, you can see them all whipping along underneath you, and it really gives that sense of momentum and aliveness to your factory. But I have another example of this that we'll jump to now. So here we are at the second example, and this is my iron factory. And you might be saying, where's the buses? Here they are down here. I want to show them off because they're a little bit more decorated. You can see I've got the lights going and the pillars in between, and they also really work nicely with the aesthetic because they run all the way along, and they really help you focus the eye to the end of this, because obviously this build is all split into two like this. It really helps draw your eye down and draw you down through the build with the iron running underneath you, and it also carries on inside the build. All of the splitters and everything are underneath your feet. There's a tree. I haven't been to this factory for a while. Oh, there's another one. And yeah, everything's underground underneath your feet here. So it brings a nice momentum. It brings your factory to life, and I really like being able to look down, if you can't see the glare, and see everything running right below your feet. So yeah, we'll jump over to the blueprint I've created for this now. Okay, and here we are, our second style of logistics layout, and it's our underfoot beltway. I've got a little bit more stylish with this one, a few more lights. I've used the roofs instead, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And again, I've used Mark 1 belts. You can obviously swap those out pretty easily, like in the rest. So all you need to do is come into the blueprint, select the belt, and then switch out for whichever speed you need. In here I've used the what are these called, quarter pipes, to give this very slight little curve in here. It's almost not really noticeable, you can just about see it here. Am I flying over? No. Anyway, and then some nice lighting underneath here, which should show up nicely. I had a little bit of a problem with these. Let's see if they're still fine. Yeah, getting the angle right so you could run up and down them. Now, if this bothers you, that little bump, I think it looks nice just to have this slight little layer. You could always remake this so these are on the same layer or level. But if you do, bear in mind, if you have it half in, it's going to clip. You're going to see the black outline of this. You can see there, it's there. You'll see it on these foundations. So you might like that style if you want to recreate this or slightly change it up yourself. But again, it will look really nice with all the items flying underneath it, which I will show you right now. Okay, and here we are with my example all set up, ready to go. So it's pretty easy to put this one together. It's one little thing. So if I just grab this, you can line it up using the blueprint mode like that. So you just whack this one in there, and then we go for the main one, just slot it in, and another connection piece as well. I have accidentally included, as you can see here with the connection piece, some extra connectors. I'll tell you why in a sec, but I will get rid of them on this blueprint because they don't need to be there. With the connectors though, what you're going to have to do is just delete this and this, and then connect up the belts like that. I haven't run power on this one. You can add it in if you want. I was just using it as an example in the last one. So yeah, we connect all these in, and then you just make sure these are pointing the right direction. So with the fat bit pointing outwards, replace them, and then quickly do the same here. And we can see what it looks like with all the items running on the belt. So yeah, I could have left these out and not had these little have to delete and rebuild, but I mean it's muchness really. These are just examples as well, just to show you could obviously take them and do what you want, or do different styles with them, or you could just use them as they are. So yeah, again, as you can see, it looks really nice with everything flowing underneath you as you go along. Like I said, these connector pieces, connector blueprints have these. I will remove them, but what it is I made another version of this, which is underfoot input, which I'll show you now, because I thought, well, I've done it here where I've just got lifts coming up, but it's not the most elegant solution. You might, as you saw in my iron factory, it was feeding from one side, so I've done this so that you've got some options to as a start. Basically, this would be the start of the bus to input things, and you can maybe reverse it to do the output, and it just comes in from the side like that and looks quite neat and tidy like that. So thought I'd just make that extra little blueprint so you've got a few more options. So you've got the main one, you've got the input, and you've got the connector, which again I'll remove those can't remember the name of them now. I'll remove these floor conveyor poles, that's it. I'll remove these off that blueprint, so don't worry, they won't be in the main one. But let's move on to our next logistics layout style. Okay, and so we are back in this familiar place here that we were in at the beginning of the video to show you off the next style of belts layout, or really lifts layout. I'm kind of including lifts and belts, they're all kind of the same kind of logistical problem. But this one, I guess you could call it a vertical bus, but I'm going to be fancy and call it a waterfall, because all your items are waterfalling down each way, and this one is quite large. It goes all the way from the top of this factory all the way to the bottom. Oh, come on, let's fly. You see it's quite large, connects all the factory together, and I think it looks quite cool. Just have all of them. It has the same idea as the bus, but again, it just looks really nice. It gives you a visual indicator of how everything's running. You want to try and match, I haven't done a very good job of it here, I've just got all Mark 5 belts in, but if you can try and match the speed of the belts to what's being produced, so things are a bit fuller, that looks great. And I will show you a better example of that now. Okay, and so we've jumped over to my second aluminium plant to show you another example of a what I call waterfall, or I mean you could call it a vertical bus, I guess. Again, and you see here I've done a much better job of matching the belt speeds to how much aluminium ingots are being produced here. You can see I've decorated a lot more. I've got the massive pillars. I've used the frame walls and some nice lighting either side to give it this glow. So you can really style these out. Now, one thing I'll point out with these is, obviously they're Mark III. Obviously I could use a higher belt speed. Let's see, where can I jump in here? There you go. I could use a higher belt speed if I wanted to, but I'm splitting these, almost load balancing them out to even all of them out mostly. I mean, obviously I haven't done my maths quite right, have I? Because that's definitely got more in than the rest of them. But yeah, if you could do your maths right, I don't need to do that. Obviously I don't need to put Mark 3, they were Mark 3, weren't they? Yeah, Mark 3 lifts in here. I could put Mark 4 or have a Mark 5 running down and just this, but I've decided to split them out like that so it looks a little bit more impressive coming down the front of the build. Like 1 or 2 lifts on this kind of scale wouldn't look very good, so I've segmented them or split them out into multiple belts so that it looks a little bit more impressive. So don't be afraid to do that. I'll show you another quick example of that. Actually, I wasn't going to, but we'll jump in here where I've taken that to an extreme. You can see here where all the bauxite is coming in from the trucks along here. These are all Mark 1s. Obviously I could just put a couple of lifts, 1 lift in. Can't remember how much is running here, but I think like 1 or 2 lifts maybe. Even with Mark 6s, definitely 1 Mark 6 lift. But splitting out into the Mark 1s means you get more, and you get this big long line of constant movement waterfalling down. So they don't have to be as long and tall as the one out there, but just look at that nice constant motion that's happening. Just, it really brings the factory to life that you can show this kind of motion. I know I keep saying it, but I've got one more example of a waterfall belt and then we'll jump over to the blueprints, but we'll jump to that quick example first. Okay, and I just wanted to use this last little one as an example of how a waterfall does not have to be straight. It does not have to be just a simple normal bus or a straight line up and down. As you can see this in the battery factory here, it's kind of rounded, kind of, you know, has that round-esque look to it, or you know, 2 of them are angled in the back. So don't think you have to just have straight lines, or like, you know, have them all lined up perfectly straight. Doing this kind of layout can also look really nice. And let's jump over to the blueprint I've done for waterfall belts. Okay, and so the next logistics layout style is the waterfall that I showed you in my factories, and here's the blueprint for it. I can't put the belts in it until I show you the example, or the lifts, but I've used the polished concrete here on the sides to emphasize this light. I've tried to use a lot of depth in this one, so obviously you're sunken in, and then there's a nice gap in between these frame walls and the light at the back. Adding depth into your builds obviously makes it look a lot nicer. It looks even cooler when you've got the lift in, but I'll show you that in a sec. And there's not really much else to say about this. It's not too crazy, but it should look really nice up and running, which I'll show you now. Okay, and here is our waterfall belt all up and running. So it looks quite nice with the light behind and the the frame walls in the background, just subtly hinting that it's going up. But obviously you could have them coming down if you want. I put Mark 5 belts in here, so it looks nice. So all you do to build this is I would make a delete section of the floor, so you can line it up, and then we'll grab the base section. So this is the base, and you just want to use, there we go, until it's like that. You could press H and make sure to lock it into place if you want to see if it's in the right place, but that looks good to me. There you go, you've got the bottom, and then you've got the mid sections. Get it around the right way. This easily snaps together with blueprint mode. Obviously these mid sections are just little extensions. If you wanted to make a bigger extension, you could make a blueprint with like 3 or 4 or more of these in, and you can go as high as you want with these. So yeah, you could make a blueprint which was basically like, say, 5 of those stacked together, and you know, call it mid times 5 or whatever you wanted. And then we just have this top section here, It just pops on the top like that. And then the tip here, obviously lifts normally, I don't know if people know, this is the max height of a lift here. So you see we are slightly short, but if you go in between two floor holes, see that's the max height, you clip to there, you can go as high as you want, and that is literally as high as you want. I've not tested it, but I'm pretty sure you can go all the way up miles into the sky. Oh, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? But they're very simple, easy to set up, looks nice, looks clean. Obviously inspiration for your own builds, but this works really nice. It's very similar to the one I showed you on the front of the aluminium factory. And so with that done, let's look at our next logistics style. Okay, and here we are at our next belt layout. Hang on, there's nothing. Oh no, sorry, yeah, made a mistake. I haven't actually used this style of belt anywhere in my saves at the moment, but I plan to in the future, so stick around for that. Might be something to do with Fixmas. But you know what, since we're here and there's this beautiful waterfall, I think you know what time it is. That's right, people, it's time for a little bit of a satisfactory ASMR with this beautiful waterfall gushing in the background, calming, making you want to subscribe to my channel. And
why are you not working on saving the day?
I was just telling people to subscribe and doing some ASMR because they seem to enjoy it.
What is ASMR?
It's a kind of thing that relaxes people. You know, if they're relaxed, they might think, yeah, why not subscribe to the channel?
I am capable of relaxing pioneers to enable them to work more efficiently. You must return to your work.
Okay, you're gonna do it. You sure you're not really the most chill and calm? Oh.
Return to your work immediately, or you will be demoted to cleaning out the doggo's litter boxes.
Okay. I'll go and set up the next blueprint then.
Engaging ASMR protocols. Imagine yourself in a calm grassy field. The wind is blowing gently on your face. You hear the noise of vital space elevator parts being constructed in the distance. You are achieving your goals and are one of our top pioneers. You wish to help others reach the heights you have, so you decided to observe your fellow pioneers' work by subscribing to this channel, and report back to Fixit on all of the time they have wasted making videos, so Fixit can deal with them appropriately. You are now sufficiently calm and may return to your work.
Okay, thanks for that, Ada. That was very calming and relaxing. But anyway, moving on swiftly from that, this is the next style. I know I hadn't got an example of it yet, but I'm going to use a very similar style to this. I think in my Fixmas factory, not decorated like this, but a similar idea. And when that's uploaded, or when that's finished, I will definitely make a video on that. So make sure you do subscribe to see that. But yeah, this one is kind of stacked offset, really. So it's a bus, but you're kind of walking through. And my idea here with Fixmas is this will be my entrance, and then all the presents will just roll their way down the conveyor belt. Maybe have some Fixmas, I'll have the trees all in the background, or some snowmen or something like that. There won't be the gold, it will probably be like wood style. So I think I'm going to do like a Swiss Christmas market style. So I guess it's German, really, German Christmas market style build, but that's not yet. Other interesting things about this build, I've used, you can see here I've crossed over two beams and put lights in it to create this nice little split style light here. So you can see you get a nice little thinner than you could get with other signs. You've just got that beam running through it. I've done a similar thing on this side, But instead of using just normal beams, if I delete part of this, we'll see what's inside. What is inside is 2 crossed metal beams like that. Now normally it won't let you do that. So if I take this and I show you, let me just put that in a sec. If I take one beam like this, and I take one beam like this, it's letting me do it from this direction. Sometimes it doesn't let you do it. So that's all you do to create that. And then all I did was run the painted beam. See, it's not letting me do this. This is what it's not letting me do. It won't let me do this. Now, how I've done that on there is like this. Take the beam, make it 1 meter less. H, nudge. Or you could do a whole nudge. I think it'll work with a whole nudge, yeah. Do a whole nudge, not a half nudge. Like that. And then it will let you place it. And all you do is snap to that again and finish that last little section there. So that's nudge can allow you to get some beams into places they shouldn't be. And also, so just to show you this, all I did was snap some lights in the right position. Ooh, tricky. Into there like that. And then if I just copy, so this is an easy way to do signs. Control C to copy the settings. Control V like that. You see we get another style of light where we've got the kind of 3 little bars and the 2 little metallic lines running down the middle. Yeah, so that's that one, and all I've done is just staggered the steps up here. I've added a lighting beam in the top as well, where I'll run power along the top here. Again, nice to run power with your beam, with your logistics. And then I've just used asphalt foundations with a what do they call them? They are called recording layer night, terribly sorry. Where are we? Customizer patterns, with one of these patterns painted on top of it to give it this little shiny bit down the center. All right, let's jump over and I'll quickly show you this up and running. Okay, and so here is our example of how to set this up and seeing it running. Now for this style, I've only made one blueprint. And you'll see why. Again, blueprint mode, it doesn't really snap nicely. I've tried messing with it, I can't figure out why. One thing I will note actually quickly, I've forgotten the rest. Let me just lock this into place and show you how to get it in. So I've just pressed H to lock it in, and then I'm just going to nudge it into line. I'm not entirely sure why it says it's clipping when it's not, but I couldn't really figure out why. But anyway, you can just nudge it into place like that and place it. One thing you'll notice is I've done in all of these blueprints that are like belts that run this direction, that aren't that don't have lifts in like that one. All of the belts are running in the direction of the arrow, so they're running that way, so you can always tell which way, if it's got belts placed, they're running towards this arrow. Okay, you can reverse it if you want, but there's not really any point. You can just flip it around if you need the reversed version. And yeah, so just place that in like that. So easy peasy. All I've done is set back the start and end of each belt, so you can flip it in. You can just link them together like this. Out of the way. That. And then again, like I've mentioned, there's power at the top here, so you can just lock these together. I've got no power on, that's why these lights are running. And yeah, this is what this looks like. Again, look, I think it looks quite nice with, you know, being in amongst the belts, really. Same as the tunnel. Oh, spoilers, tunnel's coming up next. Same as the one you'll see in a minute. Being down here with the belts running looks really nice and just kind of gets you involved, makes the factory feel a bit more alive. But after my little spoiler there, let's move on to the next belt logistics layout style thing, whatever the hell we're calling these now. See you there. Okay, and here we are at our final logistics layout style, and it's what I refer to as a tunnel, for obvious reasons. you're creating a tunnel with your logistics, basically. Now this is one of my favorites. Obviously throughout the video you've seen I love to show the motion of the belts and really bring the factory to life, and I think this just encompasses you all around with what's going on, what you're making. Especially in this example, we've got the canisters running over the top, down each side, and then down this side as well. And I just think it looks really nice. Again, I've tried to match the belt speed best I can, but obviously we're only doing 40, so you're never going to fill a Mark 1 belt. It's just so nice to wander down. It does have like a gameplay value as well. Like you can really tell. I know there should be 40 on here, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 canisters and then a 2 gap, and I can see, yep, cool, these are all producing exactly what they should be producing at a glance. I don't need to look at the machines to make sure, or the lights or anything like that. I can just look at your belts and you know that they're producing the correct amount. So having belt layouts like this isn't just for style, it also helps you with knowing that things are running correctly. At just a glance, without having to check all your machines, I can look along this line and be like, yep, that looks right. Okay, so we're going to jump to one more example and then we'll show you the blueprints. Okay, so this is the last little example here. We've got our modular frame set up. I haven't really, again, in this factory I just chucked Mark 5 belts on everything, and these are only really producing 3 per minute. So to be honest, you don't really get the same effect. So this is a good example of how you should really try and match the belt speed to what's being produced if you're going to try this, because otherwise it's just going to look empty. If you compare it to the last one, you can see there's not much going on, but you can see we've got this walkway here going through. Similar idea we have on this one, 2 different levels here. I kind of wish maybe with this one I'd put another walkway in a little bit lower so you can see both of them like you could in the last one, but you know, I did this one before the other one, and so I learnt my lessons, matched my belt speeds, and positioned the walkway a little bit better so you could see things. But again, the same idea as the previous one, just like I said, you can't really see it as well because these are not producing as quickly or as many as the belt speed would need to make it look good. But we'll jump now over to our final set of blueprints for the video. Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have the tunnel style. The examples I showed you in my save were a bit smaller. Well, they're biggish, but I've gone a bit. Wow, I've gone a bit crazy here, as you can see. I really like this. I've added the blueprints in here, lights up the top, and you've got all the waterfall down here, and you've got a walkway. The idea with this is obviously you would have a logistics, you would have your machine floor here. Your logistics would either run down or up from the ceiling. It would carry up, down, all the stuff down here, and then any outputs would go, or inputs would come down. I'll show you kind of the idea with it in a bit. Yeah, so yeah, but I've not just made this one, I've also, if we load up this, you can see I've made a stairwell version as well. Yeah, loads in. So now you can have one floor up here, and then I think these are actually running upwards. So you've got your stairwell running around down here. So you would have one logistics floor here. The output would come out and then up to your next logistics floor at the top there. Yeah, I really like how this has turned out. But let me show you it up and running so you get full sight of how cool it looks. Okay, and so here it is. I've set up a little bit of logistics just to get it up and running, so I'll connect that now so we can start to see everything flow through. Give me a sec. Didn't want to start this so you didn't get to see it. Ooh, there we go. And so there we go. I like this one. Again, I think tunnel is one of my favourites. So yeah, this is flowing upwards. And how cool does that look? So you'll come up through this stairwell and see everything coming up, and then you'll see it go up above your head in a sec. Like that. Obviously you could rebuild this to change the belt direction so it's going down if you wanted to. It'd be pretty simple just to delete these and then reverse the direction of them pretty easily. But there you go, you can see them all running along the top there now. Very cool. And obviously you can see them down there as well. They've got nowhere to go up the top, so they'll stop in a sec. But the idea with this would be, obviously, you would build out your main floor down here like this, and you could put your, like, say, a constructor or something, and you'd have a line of constructors, and then belt down, and then around, and then up here, and then you do basically whatever it is. So maybe you have smelters on that bottom row, you know, and it's taking your ingots up to the next level to be processed into rods or something like that, and then the logistics floor would come down. There'd be a bit of clipping, but it doesn't clip the main machine. Then your logistics can come down and through there into your machines and look nice and clean and lovely. Obviously, like I said, I have the other variant of this. I'll just show you how easy it is to place. You can just whack it down. Probably put mode in it, which is snap. I know, and there's still a gap there. I'm not sure why this is happening. Ah, it's because I put that there. Okay, because of that on the edge there. There's a gap, but just nudge it in like that. And you should be fine. So you got another stairwell one, and I have designed these. So if I put a walkway one in that I've designed, nudge it in. This. So we've got the walkway here. You can, these are the same level. I've designed them so you can just delete these and then add in one like that. And you now these are connected. So you can make this multi-layered if you want. You can even do the same with the stairwell pieces. So if I get rid of these and these, and then just add in the walkway across here like that. You can link up multiple of these modules to make as many of these stairwell sections if you want, and make a really nice, cool, long, tunneled corridor, which I think would look very cool. I mean, look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? I mean, maybe you'd have one stairwell, and then, so if you put, I get one of these, blueprint mode, nudge along, like that. So you have one stairwell segment and then one walkway segment, stairwell, walkway, depending on how many you need. But I think that looks pretty nice. In fact, I'm probably going to use this as my thumbnail. I mean, you'll know if I've done that or not. One final thing on this is up the back here, obviously where your logistics are, we have a lighting controller just to change to whatever lights you want. They're set to the orange, but you can set what you want. Hang on. And then obviously you just connect them along the way as you go. And your power you'd need to connect in as well, because obviously this is not powered, but I've left that off because I don't really know where you're going to be running your power if you use these. So you just need to hook some power into here so these lights will work. But that is it, guys. That's our video for today. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like Ada told you earlier, subscribe for more content like this. To give you a hint of what I've got coming up, I've got finishing my starter base. I'm going to build a Fixmas factory. I've got more videos like this planned, so I want to do one for storage. I want to do one for trains and roads. I want to do one creative ways to use signs. So lots of exciting stuff coming up. And then after Christmas, I've got a bit of a project I'm working on with a few other content creators. We've got a little thing going on that hopefully will be out in the new year. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you want to see any of that stuff, make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment if you've got any questions about anything you've seen. And, I nearly forgot to tell you how to get the blueprints. Join my Discord. Link is in the description. Jump in the Discord. I'm going to redesign my blueprint channel because currently it's a little bit of a mess. So by the time you get in there, it'll be nice and neat, and there'll be a post for each of these blueprints in that blueprint channel. You'll be able to go in, you'll be able to see photos, you'll have a small description, and you'll be able to download the blueprint files for yourself and use them in your saves, or edit them, or just pick them apart to see how I've built them. And yeah, you can ask questions about them there as well. You can ask questions in the comments if you'd like to see anything else, any other styles of builds or layout styles. Let me know in the comments, and yeah, drop me a like. If nothing else, if you've liked the video, then drop me a like. So yeah, I've been Scratch. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.